as you can write. Let's move on. Let's move on. That should be good enough. Question 5. What is this? All of you? JCB. All right. So the question is, what is the part of this particular excavator which is in the front, which essentially digs the earth and carries it around? So there are two parts to the question. You have to tell me what is this whole part called, what is this entire part called, and what are these particular extrusions called? Both the things. What is the part of this machinery which really digs the earth with the help of those extrusions, and it carries it around? So what are these both the things called? That is essentially the whole working area of this machine. Yes? Otherwise it could just be a tractor. So I need two answers. Please write them one next to other on the same space, in the same space. Let's move on. Question number 6 now. Question number 6. As you can see, this particular object is flying and it's solar. If you can figure out the solar fins on top of that. Tell me which famous organization built this and still operates this. It's pretty famous, one of the few fully solar flying objects in the world. We would have to call it object because it cannot carry any load. So which organization built this? And there has been a major upgrade to this hardware last year in 2012. Major upgrade. You know, it used to be very inefficient back in the day. Now they have gotten it to 0.35%. So 35%. So it has been really upgraded. So the organization which built this and operates this for research purpose. Question 7 now. Question 7 on the screens. Spring Fest, popularly known as SF, is the annual and social cultural festival of which engineering institute, famous engineering institute in India? I'm sure a few of you here are from this institute. Yes, so you have a distinct advantage over the others. So which institute in India hosts the Spring Fest? That's what we are talking about. Let's move on. Question 8. This is the coolest question of the lot. So this transformation is from a time domain in which inputs and outputs are the function of time. As you can see, it's a function of time, and the frequency domain where the same inputs and outputs are functions of complex angular frequency as shown here. Yes, with the limits. So tell us, what is this? What is this called? I feel sorry for the pseudo engineers here. I'm just kidding. All of us have studied this in the first year. All of us. What is this called? What is it called? Essentially talking about this equation. What is it called? Yes? Let's move on. Question 9 on the screens. Tejas Beauty Cream, Kesh Kanti Hair Cleanser, Kanti Aloe Vera Soap, and Kanti Panchagavya Soap. Quite a lot of products here. Which personality is behind the manufacturing and sale of these products? Which personality would you associate with these products? If you just dig deep into the products there, you'll get the answer. Not a lot of people can actually make a Kesh Kanti hair cleanser anywhere in the world. So try to narrow it down and you will be able to crack it. Moving on, question 10, we are halfway there. Question 10. So these are all subtypes of what? Subtypes of what? Backbenchers, visible clearly? Superb. So these are the subtypes of what? Good question. I think now we are getting into the more core areas of engineering, aren't we? All right. Let's move on. Question 11 on the screens. On the screen. So this is a floor map. Civil engineers, let me see your hands. Where are you? Quite a lot of you. So this is a floor map. This is a question custom made for you of a very famous building. Very famous building which has been in news for the last few years. Which famous structure / building are we talking about? Which famous structure / building are we talking about? So I'll just explain what are the headers there. So that's a residential entry on the left, hotel entry on the right. The bottom is the boutique office entry. Which famous building is this? A quick spoiler, do you want a clue or it's all right? Clue. No clue. See, I have a team here fighting hard. So we are back in college now. Yes? Very quick clue related to a famous movie from recent times. Famous movie sequence from a recent times. I think that should just do it. That should do it. Pretty much. Next question, question 12. What commodity is manufactured through the process of crush, tear and curl, which is also called cut, twist and curl? What would you actually make by crushing, tearing and then curling? Good question. Just think about it. Think outside of the box. Let's not stick to the metals and ferrous and non-ferrous things. Think outside of the box here. What could you be manufacturing this way? Crush it, tear it, curl it, not transformers. All right? Very basic commodity that is used everywhere. Moving on. Question 13 now. Question 13. This is a good one again. So the design of this machine can be greatly put upon the intended application, but the basic features are pretty much the same. And it does at all times have a headstock, a bed, a carriage and a tailstock. Which particular machinery are we talking about? Which could have a headstock, a tailstock? Let me see the smiling faces here. Yes, I can. I can already figure out. The geeks. Yeah? So what are we talking about? All these people smiling here got full marks in Viva, I can assure you. You know, they got, and the others, no. We just don't know. I'm with you. I can feel you. Let's move on. So one word answer quickly. Question 14 on the screens now. Which engineer from IIT Delhi is chronicled in this book? Famous book and also in the news recently for all the wrong reasons. Let's see now if you can make it. The Billionaire's Apprentice. And deliberately the cover of this book has the colors of what you can see. Yes? All right, so which famous engineer from IIT Delhi and quite a lot of work in Bombay as well that this guy did? We're talking about back in the day. That should do it. All right, question 15. Let's move on, let's check. Who is he? Just solve this. This is it. This is it. Question 15 is probably again one of the easier ones. Not James Bond, for sure. Not at all. Who is he? Who is he? Can you please identify the person in that currency? And the equation is a spoil sport. It has just given it away. Let's move on. Let's quickly move on. Last few questions. We are into the last quarter of these questions. Have a look.
We believe that if love is a chemical reaction, chemistry has a good chance to make the world a more harmonious place. Chemistry creates good relationships among the elements. It finds secret formulas to unite rather than separate things. It works so that experiment after experiment, bandages end up loving the water. Wheat can survive pests. Families are less afraid of energy bills. And even cars and city centers get along better. Chemistry ultimately creates good relationships between people and whatever they need in their lives. That's why we don't just make chemicals. We create chemistry.
I think you must have guessed the question by now. This is a famous advertisement campaign run by a famous company talking about all the chemistry. Just tell me which company/organization would you relate this video to. That's all. It's an easy one. This was all over television in India last year. All over, and probably the first half of this year as well. If you watch TV, if you have started to, yes, you can answer this. Easy question. Just put a company's name next to this video. That's all. That's all. Let's move on. Question 17. Pay very close attention.
India should be a beacon of stability as to its objectives. That is not to say we will never surprise the markets with actions. The central bank should never say never. But the public should have a clear idea of where we're going and understand how our policy actions fit into the framework that we articulate. Key to all this is communication, and I want to underscore.
So who is he? I think his speech, he was just very short of "my name is." That's all. He just gave it away. Very few people can actually make a speech and cannot reveal, cannot hide their identities. He's one of those. Tell us, this electrical engineer from IIT Delhi. Who was in that audio clip? You just need the name. And as discussed earlier, no MSDs, right on the full name. It helps. All right then. Last three questions. Question 18.
It wasn't pretty, but I guess none of what was about to happen was gonna be.
The girl was kidnapped by the CS.
We have always been targets. We all know that.
Here I was again, with all hell breaking loose around another girl I had been trying to protect. This was a hell of a hangover.
Superb. I love this question. I'll tell you why, and it's very relevant for all of us. Outside of the manufacturing sector, the only industry which employs a lot of core engineers, the mechanical, chemicals, and the civils, maybe not the chemical, but the civils, are these game production companies. Because they need all these effects to be put into the game to make it very realistic. They need consultation from these. So, this is a very famous game. How many of you have played this? All the boys, let me see the PlayStation fanatics here. And all the girls who hate them. So, which famous game production company is behind this game? Famous. I will emphasize on famous once again. You do know this game, I hope. Max Payne? Anyone has seen, played, heard about it? Max Payne? It's one of the largest selling games of all time. All time. This has clocked more revenue than Avatar, James Cameron, could ever do. Yes, so which company actually makes this game? We need the name of the game maker. Surprising that Mumbai is not playing games. Pune was playing games all over. Then probably you don't have time. Space crunch, I would say time crunch, wouldn't it? Last two questions, 19 on the screen.
No, I don't think I'm at a center stage, except that probably an interview given by me